show starts, please? We got stuff we gotta get ready then. Call back, okay? Christ, this guy. Here we go.
Coming to you live on the Government Access Channel from Mario Bagnoni Chambers in beautiful downtown Erie. It's the Taxpayers Hotline Show with your hosts, Kaz Kwiatkowski and John Steiner.
Kaz,
John.
you know, this phone just rings and rings and rings. While we try to get ready, we have people here we try to talk to, and we try to ask people to just give us till the show starts so we can get our stuff ready, get our thoughts ready. But they just don't listen.
Well, I'm ready if you are.
Okay. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, hi. I'm calling about the census for the city. Is that going to be like a big cut in funding?
No, not at all.
How? Come out yet?
What's that?
Now the census, the grants Erie gets are for a population of 100,000. If that drops, could the federal money drop too?
Sure,
but nobody knows what formula the government's going to use even. That's based on what we know now, but nobody knows what's going to happen with the government. They
drop us anyway.
They change their mind, they change the funding formula, but it's never good to drop, no. That I can definitely tell you, it's never good to drop.
Right.
If it does drop, okay, would public services decline?
No, they won't decline. What will happen is local government will have to pick up the difference or make cuts. That's the.
We won't get the amount of CDBG money that we normally get
now,
for.
What cuts are the city willing to make?
We haven't got that far yet, have we?
Well, the obvious cuts are services or people. That's the only thing you can cut in government.
90% of the budget is mandated.
Okay, so what do you guys want to cut? Services or people?
I mean, pretty much services.
I faced that dilemma last budget session, and the unfortunate thing was that we could not lay off police and fire and adequately protect the city. So there was no other choice. There's not that many employees that cut around here that are doing something that's meaningless.
We don't need all these police, so the citizens can protect themselves.
No, come on. How are you going to protect yourself? You going to shoot me if I come to your house? Is that it?
No, but so people can take responsibility for themselves and behave. And we won't need all these police.
Who's going to patrol the streets?
Yeah,
Who's going to fight the fires? Yourself?
No, but maybe we don't need all these city employees.
Well, you tell me where you'd like to cut, and I'll tell you if you can.
Maybe cut, the police. Maybe we don't need all these police officers.
Well, we're actually under national standards.
Well, what happens is when you make these cuts, you have to pay the guys that are working overtime.
Right.
So there's double time and a half right there. So
by national standards, we're understaffed. The last 2 or 3 chiefs have cut a lot of what they call the specialty units because that means people are double shifting. The fire, we've shut down firehouses. We've had the volunteers come in to help us out. Look at the trouble they're having staffing on the county with volunteers.
There's certain things that when somebody lives in the city you expect to have, and that's police.
That's true. That's true. See, but a lot of people that encounter the police do not expect the police to violate their rights.
Oh no, here we go. We're not going down that road.
All right, have a good day. We're not going to talk about this nonsense anymore.
Yeah, but I want him to specifically tell me what he's been violated, and then you know what? Go over to the courthouse and swear out a warrant.
It's not even worth it.
No, but that's what you do. If you got a complaint,
yeah,
take it up.
Yeah. Go ahead, caller.
Wow, how can I follow up on that one?
You can't.
That's
like what they say, trying to beat a royal flush, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Anyways, big night tonight, huh? What time does that start, Kaz?
They told me 5:30.
5:30. That should be on YouTube then, right?
It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be broadcast live, Mike told me too, so.
Yeah, I don't know
It'll be on YouTube and live.
if you have the,
Satellite, so I don't get that.
yeah, I was just gonna say if you have Spectrum.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if there's a delay on there or not, but it'll be, Mike did say it'd be on YouTube, I think.
Well, I know the YouTube deal. They had when they were all coming up there and giving their little 3-minute spiel on YouTube. Oh, that.
Hang on, we're getting an update. What, Mike? But it'll be on YouTube. Yeah, Mike gave us the word, it'll be on, there might be a very, very slight delay, and that's because of, 5 seconds or so it's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, that's normal. That's actually 5 seconds is no delay at all.
Yeah, because I do a radio show, and there's like a delay of, believe it or not, it's like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I heard you on the ERG.
Yeah.
That Sunday.
Yeah, and people will say,
You're a Pollock. Come on, I'm a Pollock. You're a Pollock. What are you doing the Italian hour for?
what, they need somebody to run the equipment.
Oh, okay.
Then we got Polacks running the Italian hour, and then the Italians running the Polack hour. So what are you gonna do? You know?
Hey, I want to put you both on the spot. I made my prediction on the radio here a while back on Jet as to who I think is going to be the next city council person that takes your place.
Yeah, who are you predicting?
I'm taking that one girl, the one that ran. She got the second or the next highest votes. Can't think of her name now.
The answer's no.
What's that?
No.
I'm getting old. I can't remember anymore.
John says no. I don't know.
I think you're talking about
Yeah, she got the glasses.
Jasmine, I think's her name.
Jasmine Flores. There you go.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
That's not mine.
Your predictions.
I'll say 3 names out of all of them.
Have one. Well, I'll give you 3. Go ahead.
I'll say Selena King.
Okay.
I'll say possibly Rob Mart. And maybe Dave Brennan.
Dave Brennan, huh?
One of those 3. That's what I predict.
Okay.
Yeah, Dave's a good compromise guy. He's got experience.
What do you say, Kaz?
I haven't got a feeling for it. I'm being honest about it.
Yeah.
I haven't really followed it, so I mean.
Now, I looked it up on the city ordinance. If that comes down to a tie,
Yeah.
where they whittle it down to 2, let's say it was whittled down to 2 people,
Right.
and nobody wants to, sort of like the Democrats versus the Republicans, nobody wants to give an inch, and you got 3 votes for one and 3 votes for the other.
Yeah.
I looked it up on the city ordinance. Apparently, the mayor could be the deciding vote.
I think you're right. Now, in the school board, it will go to the courthouse.
Ah.
See, because when I was on the school board, we had, we had 9 members. So if we had a 4-4 tie, because obviously,
Went to the courthouse.
well, people didn't understand this. They thought I could vote. I said, no, I have to quit first.
Yeah.
You have to resign first before. So with the school board, it was a 4-4 tie because the superintendent is hired by the school board. It's not the same, like the mayor's independently elected. Under the third, like we could, when we chose
I can see why.
when we chose our government years ago, those are the things we did. And if that didn't cover it, then you go by state law. With the school board, it would go over to what they call the Court of Common Pleas.
Gotcha.
But I think the gentleman's right. I think you are right, sir.
Yeah, it's either in the third-class city code, I've seen it, or the city ordinance, one or the other.
Right.
They call her. You were the one that called about Club Energy last week, right?
Oh, yeah.
How about, did you see the statements made by one of their owners?
Oh, yeah.
You mean about the people doing it?
Yeah.
Well, I saw some video from that place.
It's
pretty telling.
What does it tell?
I can't say over the air.
Where's the video? YouTube?
It's available.
Oh, it's like, I see. It's not on YouTube video?
They're doing the old false flag.
It was appointed to me, but
Oh, was it?
pointed out to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're doing a false flag, this way they can blame the Club Energy when in fact the neighbors are doing the shooting.
Yeah, that's unbelievable, but
I mean, it's kind of funny. It's so pathetic. It's kind of
Didn't get a trifecta. The last 2 weekends, I guess, Club Energy, they had the one guy that got shot, and then a week before that, I believe there was just shots fired. And I figured we're going to go for the trifecta this week, but I think they got the word after the Rumors Lounge got raided on Friday night.
Yeah.
What's his Rumors?
The other lounge up by,
Across from Seraphims.
The one near Seraphims?
yeah, it got raided, and LCB and the other.
Well, from what I seen, the activity I seen on camera,
Yeah.
it's very simple. You're still there, right, sir?
Yeah. I'm hanging on there, Kaz.
It comes real simple. I mean, the kind of entertainment I saw tells me that you got beer there,
Yeah.
or beverages. You're not drinking soda.
Right.
You're not drinking pop, okay?
Right.
Not flavored water, okay? You're probably serving food too. So I mean, A, where's the food license? B, where's the liquor license? Okay? And if you have a bottle club, as I understand it, you can meet, a bunch of people and bring beer and drink, privately.
Yeah.
But you can't sell admission or sell,
I mean, do you have to be a certain age to go in there?
Well, in Pennsylvania,
18 or 21?
legally, even kids can't drink in their own house,
18.
really.
I think you have to be 18 to go in there. Now, back when I was younger, there was a place called Taxpayer.
Yeah.
It was right up here on State, and right by where Juniors is, and it was a bottle club.
I think if there's liquor, you gotta be 21, John.
Well, see, here's how it breaks down. Everybody would, 21 years old would bring the liquor in, and then once it got in and upstairs, it was a free for all. And then what would happen is, fights would break out because it's young people drinking, and then it would spill outside. But when you spilled outside after closing, the police would be patrolling out there,
Yeah.
which kind of curtailed some of it. But that's how bottle clubs work. If you're 21, you can bring the stuff in.
I don't think 18-year-olds can get in there with liquor.
Not with liquor, but they can come in. But once you're in, they don't monitor or ask questions on who's doing what.
Here's something that I read in the paper. I don't know if it's true, but they according to the, I believe it's the officer that's in charge of the vice or the whatever you want to call it that go into them places.
Right.
That they have a food license, but they don't have a liquor license. And if you have strictly a food license, it was in the paper, and that his quote was, "There cannot be liquor on the premises, period." That was in the paper. So I'm wondering if you have a food license only, you cannot have liquor on the premises, no matter who brings it in.
Now that's an I don't know the laws on that.
Yeah, I don't know that at all.
Because there's some that say that a bar to get a license has to have so much food too. So there must be some kind of, I'd have to ask somebody at the state level how that works.
Yeah.
And because a lot of times, there used to be, remember bars had to keep a certain percentage of food?
Oh, absolutely, they still do.
Yeah, but it could be finger food.
Yeah.
But then there were other licenses they came out with that were what they call restaurant bar licenses they weren't a pure bar, they were more of like, liquor was an accommodation like you would have at Longhorn or one of these or Ricardo's or someplace.
The guy to get on there, one of them state guys on the old Taxpayer Hotline show here, be you, John, and some state official, whoever it may be, maybe Laughlin.
Yeah, I could ask him, or maybe Bobby will come on, Mirsky.
We've offered people to come on here before, but
They're probably scared of you, John.
No, they're scared. What they're scared of
they're scared
is
of you.
Yeah, not us.
They're not scared of me because I see them around. I know them.
This show is not sanitized. In other words, when you come on here, you'll get questions and we don't screen them.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to be on live TV because when you do a news thing and you screw up or you just say, let's do that again. And they'll do it again. Here, there is no let's do it again. That's why you can't get, other than Kaz, you can't really get anybody to do the show.
No, they don't want it. This can be embarrassing if they ask you a question you don't want to
People
answer.
don't realize that doing a live show, you got to be quick just to keep it going.
Yeah, you got one take and that's it.
That's it.
Well, when Mario had the show and then Jimmy Thompson, they told me, if I took it over, I was to, keep the level that, any question was worth asking.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to get off. Let the other callers get in.
All right.
Yeah, and if nobody
good day.
calls, call back. You get some good, you know.
Yeah, good calls.
But, you know, he's right, you know, it's real simple at that place. And I hope they're working on it. But it should be, you know, look for the licenses, because you can't tell me
Well, I saw that
people are going in there and just hanging
the
around.
city is putting together a case. Takes a while.
But if you live down there,
I mean, they're a business. It takes a while. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, I got a question for you guys. We have a mild winter, and the snowplow drivers, they're doing a good job when it snows. I have no complaints. Mm-hmm. But there's no snow for the last couple of weeks. It's been mild like today.
yeah.
There's like 40 of them working at the garage, I understand. There's potholes to be patched around the city. I see them all over. What do these guys do now when there's no snow?
Well, I did see in fact, I followed one of the, what do you call the trucks that do the blacktopping? The one that's, you know, they do the crack repair and the pothole repair. I followed one and there was steam coming out of it, so it was definitely,
You know,
he went over, not Grandview, he went over Lake Pleasant.
it's easy. I think there's a certain temperature that it has to be before you can.
Well, they can put
potholes.
cold patch, but not hot patch.
Yeah, that stuff. Yeah, but
But they did have that truck out, so he was out. I can get an update for you, sir, but they do have other things to do.
at
either.
6:30, I get out of work in the morning, and at 6 o'clock, 6:30, I see a lot of street sweepers and other people doing their jobs. So
I can get an update for you, but they either, if they're not doing maintenance in the garage,
yeah,
they are doing some. Because the crew is the same crew that does leaf pickup and everything is about the same.
but at least there'll be less money spent on overtime.
There's a lot of potholes I see on 38th Street all around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them personally. I know, but I'm not complaining about when they plow the snow. They do a good job.
Right.
It's just that it's been so nice out.
Right.
I was thinking they'd start patching some holes up, you know.
Well, I did see, like I say, I saw the one truck, it was 2 days ago, and there was hot steam coming out of the back of it. And you could see it was like, it carries the liquid tar or whatever it is in there.
Yeah.
Believe you. Okay, that's all I have.
All right.
But
thanks.
I'll try to find out for you what they can pretty much tell me.
Yeah, I hope that
They do get out there, but
they do.
but like you say,
it's best to do work
cold
when,
patches, that's about all they can do.
when no one's on the streets. That's when it's the best time to fill the potholes, sweep them, do this and do that. But it'll be good that they saved money for overtime.
The real problem lies in the fact that they can't afford to take the plows off sometimes right
Yeah,
away.
I'll tell you,
know.
if they're watching up there, a lot of times they do. We need to, West 8th Street from Liberty all the way out to, actually Pittsburgh Avenue.
Yeah.
Is like a grated cheese, cheese grater. I mean, it really needs some repair. I mean, I travel that every day on my way out that way, and it is really bad. I mean, it's really bad. I'm sure if they looked at it, they would agree. But yeah,
You're even seeing that now in businesses, like in parking lots. They're not taking care of them.
yeah, I see that they did have a raid at the Rumors. I think it
Really?
was. Yeah,
Well, the stuff that was going on there,
yeah.
you had to know it was coming.
It's and then you have problems at other respectable Erie establishments on the east side that usually you don't see anymore because young people don't know how to act, and so now
They having trouble there too now?
they major trouble. They had to they just recently put the age from 21 to 30 and over now. So in order
what?
to come in,
But some clubs?
no, it's a bar, tavern.
What? Say
They
what?
were having trouble with.
Oh, so they changed on their own.
So they changed on their own. Instead of 21, you have to be 30 years old to come in.
Can they do that?
Absolutely, they can do that. So, I mean, and that really cuts into their, as far as being a business and trying to make
See,
profit.
these other places, though, there's great debate about, that was brought out on TV, okay? That they're not a business,
Right,
okay?
yeah.
They're a non-conforming something, but they're not a business. So what makes it tough is that they have to prove they're vending liquor in there
Yeah.
because they don't have a license. If you have a license and you fool around,
The question
It's
is,
a lot
can they
easier to
bring-
shut
if they
them
can
down.
bring it in, they're sharing it with everybody.
Right. Well, here's the problem. I guess, this is what I was told. You can have a clubhouse. Like a bunch of guys can get together and,
Like the motorcycle guys, they all do.
but if it's private, if you don't cause trouble,
They don't care.
and
Yeah,
as long as everybody's 21,
yeah,
you can have a meeting,
Yeah.
and everybody brings a 6-pack of beer, okay?
yeah. If you're not,
But-
if anything you have in your establishment, you're being respectable to the neighbors, you're not outside shooting or stabbing one another,
Right.
the police are gonna leave you alone. I mean,
Well, people have picnics. What's the difference between a picnic and a public park? Like Glenwood, right?
yeah,
Where you bring beer and you have a meeting, okay?
yeah,
You're not selling it. The state only gets involved when you start,
right.
when minors are involved or you're
Because they don't
selling
get their
it.
cut. They want their cut. But,
Well, they have to control it, okay?
well, yeah, I'm being facetious, but,
I know what you're getting at, John,
Yeah.
but it's so kids don't get it, you control it, within bounds, but,
but I mean, it's not like these bottle clubs just automatically sprouted out. Because I used to go to one when I was
yeah, but I don't think
18,
they're
20.
legal though.
They are legal.
No, I was told by a person in state government, not a rep, that they're not legal.
I don't know. Well, they're popping up all over.
Well, they get away with it, but that doesn't mean they're legal, I'm gonna find out again, but,
I mean, they're not shutting them down. You don't see the state police shutting them down. Which you would have, well, I don't know.
well, they did shut down all
See,
those.
that's where the problem is. You don't know who's supposed
Do
to
you
do what.
remember we had the great debate about the topless clubs?
Yeah, I was a little younger, but yeah.
Well, it was the same time that you were talking about Paps AM and all that.
Yeah,
And then you had they were going after the topless places.
right.
And what happened was, a couple of them decided they were gonna circumvent the law, and they called themselves theaters, and they called themselves bottle clubs, okay?
Right.
The state cracked down on them. I remember this.
Yeah.
So I don't think bottle clubs are legal. They closed Paps and all them,
Perhaps I think closed itself.
A bottle club is, I guess what gets confusing is if all you do is bring your own liquor in, okay?
Yeah.
That may be legal,
Right.
okay?
Well, see what it is.
But
yeah.
if kids get in there, that cuts against the grain.
Yeah.
But if you start charging like admission,
Yeah.
okay? Like for instance, Virginia, when I was in the service, they were not allowed to sell liquor in a bar. They could sell beer, but not liquor, okay?
Yeah.
So what you had to do, they sold you a setup, they called it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, if you went into a tavern in Virginia, you could buy a beer, and if you wanted whiskey, you had to go to what we call the state store,
Yeah.
buy a bottle, bring it in, and then you had to pay the bar for the glasses, the ice,
Yeah.
okay, for the privilege of drinking it in there. But bottle clubs, when they start the thing about they charge admission to get in, and all they're doing is circumventing the law, that, I think they're legal then, John.
Yeah.
If all you were gonna do was have people come in and you had a band and nobody played and nobody charged or anything, I don't think you have a problem as much, as long as kids ain't there.
Right.
But when you start charging admission and you skirt around, I
Well, see,
think you
that's
got a
what they
problem.
used to do at Paps. When Nick Panos was the owner.
Yeah, everybody
He-
knows that.
Yeah, he owned the, restaurants, and he owned that place, and you would pay money to get in, and if you were 18 and, no, I'm sorry, if you were 21 and older, you could bring in alcohol. But, once you got in there,
Yeah,
they weren't, but there was, I'll tell you right now, there were a lot of LCB raids there.
sure, because it's illegal. And
Correct.
he also owned one of the,
Did he really? I did not know.
well, he owned that, well, if you remember, the one building where Junior's was belonged to him.
Okay. Was
Okay.
it Candy, what was there? Candies? What,
I can't remember the name of it, but across the street now was the other bottle club.
Night
Remember?
shift, the night shift.
Yeah, what's Paps on what?
Paps is where Junior's is.
Okay, but then night shift was in the other.
Upstairs, it was
And they were
across.
going at it, remember the war?
I
all the
remember
time?
that, yeah.
The kids would get out in the street.
Yeah,
Well, when he had the one place, upstairs was the other.
yeah,
So he was
Yeah, he was a businessman.
Yeah, he was a businessman.
Yeah, I remember that now that you mention. And there was the place on 18th Street where the country fair is too, wasn't there?
Yeah.
There was a place there. Yeah, I was.
Well, in fact,
and I
the
was
present day, the one they're having trouble with now,
where, on the west side.
no, on the east side,
Uh,
what we were just talking about.
the bottle clubs,
No, the one that, Zodiac, or,
the Zodiac,
no, what's the one that's on the east side that I think John was just calling about?
on by the Trinity Club.
No, the one we just, no, the other one. The one we just talked about. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank now.
Remember he called and he said, he was waiting to see what happens this week?
Oh, Energy Club.
Yeah, Energy.
Yeah.
The Energy is got a checkered past.
Really?
Yeah. You go back and you check on that one, that was, ever since that stopped being a neighborhood bar, that fell into some interesting,
I mean, you couldn't open a bar there. People, I mean, that would be,
during the heyday when they were having all that trouble,
yeah.
that was the third one in the whole link.
It's just that young city people, they don't know how to act anymore. And it's not, it's unfortunate because
What?
a lot of business, they don't, I used to go to the Quick Fill on East 26th Street. When it was freezing out, I didn't want to get out of my car. It was nice. That place got robbed, and same with Buffalo Road. Those got robbed so many times, they had to shut them down. I mean, a business has to shut down because they keep getting robbed by, actually, a lot of times it was by their own employees that had set it up. That's the sad part. But businesses on the east side, they have to shut down. And then everybody cries and whines that we don't have nothing on the east side. The
But now-
east side's
but-
overlooked.
but
But
now-
it's not good for investment.
But now it's heading everywhere.
I'm pretty much, I am an east side person. I grew up on the Lower East Side. I've lived on the east side my whole life. And I've watched the decline. And I've done things, been involved in different groups and activities to try to bring it back. But when all you constantly see, shootings, stabbings, fights, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it does happen a lot on the west side.
Yeah, it's starting to spread though.
In Mill Creek isn't as, the Mill Creek policeman I have friends that are on the force out there.
I ask you this, where do people from the city move?
They moved to Mill Creek.
So some good and some,
I tell you, they have their own problem.
Because-
they have a bigger problem, like remember the Franklin Terrace?
Yeah.
I never hear anything about going on out there. Back when you used to be able to listen to the scanner, sometimes I'd have no life or I'd have it on watching the ball game.
yeah.
I never hear anything going on at the terrace. But you know why? There's a problem. Back in the day when John Horan was the head of the housing
Ran with
authority,
an iron fist.
they made the rule, if you get a felony, you're out.
Yeah, and he,
So what does that do? You had a lot of people that did that lived out there. Now they're spread out through the whole east side of the city.
he ran like it with an iron fist though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hear any. The Franklin Terrace is actually pretty nice compared to. It's way better than what it used to be.
The
But-
trouble is a lot of the bars, in these businesses, as the neighborhoods declined,
Yeah.
so did the,
Well, the housing. You get businesses like Hammer Mill, even GE now, Steris or not Steris on 12th American Meter, was it on 10th Street there?
I think so, yeah.
You had these businesses that would employ people that made a good wage, to where they own their houses. And when you own your houses, you care about your house. But if you don't own, you don't care. Like when I was working in social services, I would go to somebody's house to do an intake. I'd pull up to the place and be like, oh my God, this is going to be interesting. The whole outside is disaster. I walk in that place, they got nice furniture, they got new carpets, it's clean. I'm like, wow. Then it hit me. They don't own this is their stuff. So they take care of this stuff, but they don't own the property or the grass or the porch.
Yeah.
There was been times there was holes in the porch, and I'm going, oh my God. And I walk inside, they got better stuff than I do. It's cleaner than my apartment, my house. It's like, what's going on? People, there's no jobs over there, so the people that own those houses, that worked in those factories, that worked in those but don't live there anymore. They move out. Renters move in. They care about the inside. They don't care about the outside. Then the whole housing stock declines.
What happened with the renters though, is when I was a young man and I rented, the landlord lived first downstairs from me
Yeah,
and then across the street.
yeah, right.
So he had a vested interest, but today,
It's different.
if you look at them, they're like LLCs and
Yeah,
corporations.
I was just gonna say, a lot of them don't even live in town.
But they own like 20 or 30
I mean,
properties.
when you drive around town, Kaz, and you ride through those neighborhoods, and you look at these houses and say, "Oh my God, those got to be."
Well,
they're not that bad inside.
But the old rentals were, somebody bought a flat.
Some cases.
But
Some
what-
cases.
in the old days, they bought a flat, okay, and they had the upstairs empty, and so they rented it.
Right.
Now, if you got out of hand, guess who's downstairs?
The landlord.
Guess who's going to hear your noise, right?
The landlord. Not anymore. They'd rather move to Mill Creek.
Or they moved to Carolina.
Yeah, they'll move, rent that out. Nobody's watching what's going on. I mean, I see people on Facebook that they're homeowners.
Yeah.
Some of the things that people do, what they do, how they just trash these houses. I mean, it's not, people say, slum landlords, this and that. A lot of the times, the landlords aren't, it's the people that live there that are disgusting. That is the problem.
And sometimes the landlords, you can't just go in anymore either.
You can't, I mean, on the east side in rent, you'd probably pay in a 2-bedroom apartment about $750 a month. That's for a 2-bedroom on the east side and the lower, from Bayfront to like 28th, all the way out, about $750 a month in rent. So it's affordable and it's cheap. And what they do is they go into an apartment, they'll rent it out, and then come tax time, they get money and they'll blow off paying rent. You can't, they'll squat. You can only get them out. I have a friend that's a constable that tells me all this, and I've seen pictures of it. They trash the apartment, then they're not paying anything, and then as soon as they get their income tax check, they just roll to the next apartment because they have the money to do it. And it's just a cycle every year. They get like 2 or 3 months free rent, they trash everything, don't take care of nothing, move to the next apartment and do the same thing over and over and over and over again. So people want to get on landlords. I mean, who would invest? Can you invest in a house where it's just getting trashed and destroyed by family after family after family? When you got to invest the money in it just to fix the walls and the toilets and the rugs. You have to, when you're a renter and you get that, you have to pay the money to fix the inside. Let alone, apply for these grants and all these wonderful
But
things.
still, if you're going to go into business, then you better go in with your eyes open.
You got to being a landlord and being somebody that rents out properties and stuff. It's not as easy. It's just as you think, because the renters have more rights than the property owners. Once they get in there, you can't get them out. They have more rights than the property owners.
We got to get you up you're getting kind of like in a bad mood right now. We got to get you up.
I get fired. I just see, it's just, being from the city, I actually care. I've done a lot of community stuff, and it just bothers me that things are just, we're such on the decline that the loss of jobs
On the bright
is
spot,
the worst thing that, and forget everything, drugs, crime, houses fall apart, blight.
yeah.
Those are all a direct result of joblessness. There are jobs, I mean, people, there's people in the city that get a bad rap. They don't want to work. They just want to collect the welfare and all. Some cases it's true, but there's a lot of cases where people do want to work, but they're not going to work for $7 to $8 an hour. You cannot afford an apartment on $8 an hour.
Well, here's what I read an article the other day. They were saying if you would raise the minimum wage to a certain amount of money.
Yeah,
Now, this is one economist's opinion.
yeah,
And you get one to tell you one thing
yeah, right.
that
Like a poll.
like it might cost you another 15 to 20 cents for your hamburger,
Yeah. Right.
maybe less,
Right.
okay? And that's what we're, but they're not willing to do that anymore.
Sometimes I wonder if those people that work there, I don't think they deserve $5 an hour, but the way they screw stuff up.
Well, John, here's the thing though, and I'm a fond believer in this.
Yeah.
You get what you pay for,
Listen,
okay? If you go to a place where they're taken care of and they're appreciated, okay?
yeah.
And they know they got a nice job, they're gonna work,
Well,
right?
let's say if you make $8 an hour, okay, 40 hours a week, that's what, $320 minus taxes. Let's say just 300, 600, 900, 1,200, and you pay $750 to $800 for rent. That's just rent alone. You're not talking gas,
Yeah.
electric, your vehicle, food. You
John,
can't do it.
They caught some leading fast food places
Yeah,
not paying the proper, well, first of all, overworking kids,
yeah,
okay, past the legal limit,
yeah,
because they can't find people.
right,
And then, the kids are only too old to work,
yeah.
but at what cost, right?
The-
And then you got the other case where they're not paying them the proper
The
overtime.
worst thing that ever happened to the Lower East Side of the city of Erie is when Hammer Mill or International Paper closed.
Well, there's no doubt about that, John. But I think the real hammer, there was a series, okay? And we always saw the big ones. We saw GE constantly downsizing from, I'm trying to remember what the workforce was in the old days.
Yeah,
I'm thinking at one time it might even been 20,000. Okay, back in the World War II days or pre-war.
yeah,
I think when I was a kid it was around 12,000. Does that sound right?
yeah.
Okay, so we've watched that decline. But what the killer was, and it happened right in front of our eyes. Okay, Kohler beer. Okay, all the factories along 12th Street, one by one.
Bucyrus, Erie, et cetera. et
Lewis
cetera.
Marks Toys. Okay, 2 factories, remember?
Yeah.
Cope's Vulcan,
Right,
moving out to Carolina.
right,
American Sterilizer, different ones. Some of them were big, some were small, but they all had a domino effect. And after a while, you woke up one morning and you said, and it wasn't only them, but Furch's Bakery,
right,
right?
yeah.
How many people went to work on West 22nd Street?
Like Arnaud's, little small family businesses gone.
Yeah, and all them just went, the bakeries, the restaurants,
Yeah,
one by one. You can look at different places. but-
when the gap between the haves, the rich and the poor, widens, government has to come in and fill in those gaps, and that costs taxpayers money, somehow, some way.
Well, here's the big difference. When my dad became a policeman, he took it at a loss of income.
Okay,
But the trouble was that after the war, the factories weren't running at full production any longer. So he can make more money working. In fact, he did work at Continental Rubber. He made more money, but the trouble was he got laid off a lot of times because the work wasn't there. Now, years later, it picked up again, but then one by one, those jobs, like you pointed out a few of them. Bucyrus, gone. Mark's Toys, gone. Right?
yeah.
And those were good, what you call, middle class jobs.
Where I work out now, I work for the state, and where I work with guys that are re-entering to the community. And a lot of these guys work in the factories that we have now. A lot of these places, they at most $12, $13 an hour. Now, that's really not a lot. It's not a lot. Because they're talking about making the state minimum wage $15.
Well,
These guys that they work hard. They're not even making $12, $13 an hour.
but the problem is, even though the work may go downhill a little bit, the specter of the right to work states in the South.
Yeah,
No.
putting us out of business. We need a federal mandate. We're either
Good luck in that happening.
all right to work or nobody's right to work. I mean, not only, we've talked about it before, not only are we fighting Mexico, we're fighting Texas.
But see, all the states are trying to figure out a way, how do we steal the business?
Yeah.
So,
It's not, listen,
but even in the South now, they're fighting foreign governments now. Okay, the first exodus was Texas, Arizona, the Carolinas, right?
Yeah.
The South, okay? Now those ones are being pressured by, outsourcing over into into other countries where
Mexico,
it's
yeah.
even less restrictive.
yeah, right. But you don't really get the good quality of work now.
Nobody cares anymore though.
They don't care. It's all about the bottom line.
You watch people, they'll buy a TV and complain, right?
Yeah. Even our local shops. I mean, there's people are so desperate for work, they won't pay them anything, just so they could make more profit.
Well, John,
I mean, it's,
people will buy
and that hurts all of us.
people will buy tools, and I'm not gonna pick on this company, but, they got ads that come on the paper.
Okay.
So you go down and you get a cheap tool set, it might last for a while,
Yeah.
but you don't see people buying channel lock, rigid channel lock,
Yeah.
Reed Manufacturing used to make great tools in there.
Yeah.
They were,
Right.
but people buy, they'll buy a $1 screwdriver and be happy with it, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's Lords, Reeds. I mean, they're all moving. They've all either left or disbanded. I mean, see, here's the problem. Instead, back in the day, it used to be manufacturing was the main source of income for people.
Right.
Now it's healthcare. You're either working nurses,
Government and healthcare.
exactly, and Erie Insurance here. That's what we have. Erie Insurance, government, healthcare.
Well, you know what they call Pittsburgh, don't you?
Yeah, you were telling me. What was that?
Eds and meds.
Yeah, right. I mean, when healthcare, and if, let's say if Bernie or one of these guys get in, we get universal healthcare. Here's what people don't understand about people that are on, I guess, medical card, I guess is the
Yeah.
term. Let's say if you have a medical card, it is a lot cheaper, your co-pays and different, I mean, there is no co-pays. But let's say if you have a tooth that needs pulled, the dentists in Erie won't take you. They don't. The government has a fixed amount of money that they will pay for somebody to pull a tooth. So, as a dentist, they don't take that. They want this certain amount, or they won't do it.
Well, now
There is no
this brings you,
Hippocratic situation. It's
this-
about profit.
this brings you to the great debate.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Some private businessman is funding medical school, I can't remember what university it was,
Uh-huh.
paying their whole way through.
Yeah,
And what he wants them to do is pay it back,
right.
Now, if the government was to set up a program where kids could go to medical school,
Yeah,
and either owe the army, the military, or work in communities such as Erie or any place, and part of their thing would be to take those cases that nobody else would. I mean, do you give that a try for a few years to leave medical school debt-free? I mean, there's a solution, one of them.
yeah.
I mean, you gotta pay one end or the other, okay? And if we're gonna allow doctors to make choices because of money, well,
Well, that's why but then again, that's why all the good doctors around the world come here. I mean, who would want to be a doctor in India? I mean, that's why you see a lot of foreign doctors here. They don't make peanuts over there. They come here, hell, they got mansions over here.
yeah.
They got huts over there. So we would lose that. We wouldn't get the best doctors. But what's good is having the best doctors if you can't afford to go see them.
Well, yeah, but trying to get through medical school now, that's a major hurdle.
I have good, what would be considered good insurance. It's not that good. I mean, my co-pays are ridiculous. My coverage isn't that great. And I'm like,
But since I switched to CVS, I was looking at how much the pills cost.
yeah,
You know, retail value, if that's true,
yeah.
figure.
It's crazy. It's a
Maybe you
rip.
can buy the same pills in Canada cheaper.
Maybe we should try.
You can buy the same pills in Canada cheaper.
Yeah, yeah, right. Oh, for sure. Because they have,
The VA is buying them in Canada, but you can't.
if they have,
You know that, John?
I did not know that. If they do universal health care, it would be a shock. But I'm not sure if it's not a bad idea at this point.
Is our phone work or what?
I don't know.
Doesn't look like it's on. Is it on?
It's on?
Oh, it is?
Yeah. I mean, we've never gone this long without a phone call. That's weird.
Wonder what happened to John? He hasn't called lately.
I know. See, I wonder if he's okay.
But wow, tonight's a caucus. We'll see what happens. That'd be interesting, huh?
Oh, I mean, I was watching some of it the other night. Oh shoot, wrong number.
But well, you know, just driving around Erie, I was amazed the other day that
Oh, there we go.
you got it.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, John, you're right on with this hammer mill and with housing and everything down there. I grew up in that neighborhood around 8th and Brandis, years ago.
Yeah.
But when it did shut down, all those shops, there was American Meter, Uniflow, Inland Container, Hammer, all those places. But these people who live down there now, like you said, they're working for $7-8 an hour, and you say the porches are falling apart and paint the garage. Now they don't have the money to buy a gallon of paint. I mean, they'd rather buy food for their kids.
Yeah.
Or shoes.
Right.
So they don't have the money to do it. You know what I mean? Some still own the property down there,
Yeah.
but they're just making it. They're by the skin of their teeth, week to week.
Yeah. You can tell who owns and who rents.
Said that the Americans,
Go ahead.
they're saying that the economy's going so good, the country's going so good, but they're also saying there are 40% of the people in this country that don't have $400 if their car breaks down.
Right. Well, I believe it. Whenever you get outside of Erie, it is a different world out there. Like I remember, driving up 79. As soon as you hit I-80, there's always like a storm cloud hanging over Erie. I'm not kidding.
No,
It's
you're
like,
probably right.
it's just the way it is. But I think we are heading in the right direction. But we need some of these groups like the Erie Chamber of Do Nothing. We need that. We need expected outcomes. If we're giving them tax money, grant money, we need to know what they're going to do and how they're going to do it and when are they going to do it, or else no more money.
Yeah, but they keep talking about a tourist town. A lot of people they want to bring tourists in here.
Yeah.
What are they? $7-8 an hour. You
Yeah.
work in a bar, you work in a restaurant, and we're back in the same spot again.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the top? I'd like to bring you to my office sometime and show you the top 20 businesses from 1950 or 60 and the top 20 today. And I think you wouldn't be surprised, would you?
In Erie, you mean?
Yeah, for instance, like in the 50s and 60s, the top employers were, and you can name them, GE, Hammermill.
Yeah, Kaiser Aluminum.
Yeah, go right down the list, right?
Yeah.
Today you look and it's the school district, the city of Erie.
Erie Insurance.
Then they got this one. Well, not anymore, but it used to be Cavelli Enterprises. That was McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Patterson Enterprises. That's like Burger King.
Yeah.
Then you got Scott Enterprises. You know what that is, right?
Yeah.
And Scott Enterprises would be all the hotels and the.
Right, that's all $8 an hour.
Yeah, and that's not demeaning Mr. Scott, it's just, he's paying within the industry standards.
Well, see,
But-
that's the whole set.
But-
I mean, what,
yeah.
that whole tourism, that's one sector.
Yeah,
We need something where there's family sustaining wages.
right, but we don't bring them in.
We don't have it.
I mean, you get, you know, when I was in college, they told us GNP was a figure that was the value of all the products produced in the country. Well, restaurants don't produce anything, you know, they
Right.
don't, either does entertainment. And that's where our GNP is going down, because when we were kids, you could walk down the street and find a job.
Yeah, right. You still there, caller?
Yeah, I'm still there. I'm listening. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're correct though. You're right.
Yeah, you people that didn't live back when we don't remember what it was like that. You know, the guys would walk home from work, they all made pretty good money, they looked dirty, but they were making money, you know.
Yeah.
They could afford to go to they could afford to take their family out to one of the local, they weren't even the big chains then, they would go to the local bars, like Hector's or Martussi's or different places.
People will move to where the jobs are. And if there's no jobs here, you have to move.
Well, right now, the only jobs that pay good
Your insurance,
are the hospitals.
hospitals, Gannon.
Well, I lived off of 8th and Brandeis, and I went through there about 2 months ago for a ride.
Yeah,
I can remember the people who lived in them houses this is back in the 50s.
Right.
2 houses are torn down, there's empty lots, and one's boarded up. And I knew the people, I could see their faces.
yeah.
Worked at Hammermill and GE and those places. And that whole all that in through there, Payne Avenue, Hess Avenue, it's gone. It's all gone. They're all the same. They're just run down.
Right.
That's a shame.
It is a shame.
I was in Allentown. Well, I go down there a lot because people get tired of hearing it, but they had a whole bunch of these row houses like you see out in Lawrence Park,
Yeah.
and that's where all the steel workers were. You know, all the Slavs and the Irish and the guys that worked there years ago, you know.
Yeah.
And the houses they're still in pretty good shape, but now instead of being, you know, owned by people, now they're rented, you know.
Right.
And when you look at a town like Allentown, when they lost Bethlehem Steel, that was like us losing GE entirely. But
Right.
somehow they recovered a little bit. But you know, they have a few more factories than we do. But quite frankly, we haven't done it.
You know, people that own their property have a sense of territoriality. This is, you know, it belongs to them. They have respect for it. They want it to be nice. If they don't own, like I said earlier, they don't own the property outside, they don't care. Some do, most don't.
But also, you know what happened down there? I like I said, I raised in that area. The churches, Holy Family Schools closed, St. Casimir's, St. Anne's, all them schools, St. Stan's, that whole area, all those people, the Polish, they're mixed all through there. They're all gone.
Well, you got declining enrollment, and a lot of people, and this is nothing against the people that moved in there, but they're not
They
of that
can't
faith.
afford it.
They're not of that faith either. So
can't
the
afford-
churches are suffering, and they're moving where the population is.
You can't afford a Catholic school on $8 an hour.
No,
That's correct. You're right.
but they have no parishioners because the parishioners, you know, the people that are coming here now,
They can't afford to put money into the till.
or they don't belong to that faith anymore. you know.
Yeah, right. They're different faiths. Yeah, exactly.
And so, you know, the Catholic Church is you know, they're looking for.
Yeah.
There's not anybody there.
I mean, I used to hang out in you know, over in that area, the Mount Calvary area, and had a lot of friends over there. And the whole Lower East Side, the whole
Well, what was the
ethnic
old joke?
fabric is
What was the old
different.
joke in here?
What?
A bar and a church every other block, right?
yeah, right. So I mean, like you said, I grew up down here by the Russian church. We had Russian, Polish, you know, those type of people. Now it's well, first of all, the Lower East Side by Erie Insurance. I rode over 4th Street. It's gone. It's like not even old houses. They're gone.
Well, that's why your insurance is gonna do something, but they haven't done it yet, but.
Yeah.
That's part of their master plan.
Yeah,
but-
they got the property to do it.
But until, it's tough times. This gentleman's right.
Yeah, for sure.
We gotta get some big shops in here, some big industry. I don't know how, but we gotta do something.
Why, I think this is a state problem because we do not match up well against other states.
That's Cash, you're kind of wrong about that. I thought that too.
You don't think it's his?
I think the state comes through with tax breaks and tax cuts for businesses that provide jobs. I don't know if it's more of a local problem.
But don't you think you're right about that, but.
Who wants to move to the snowiest city in the world?
But look out east, John. They've had trouble with, Harley Davidson's thinking about moving out. Okay, Hershey Foods almost moved out of Hershey.
Yeah,
Think about that, John.
yeah,
How many years was that there?
yeah.
Okay, and they're not, some of the candy factories in Allentown area.
Yeah.
The Peeps factory and that, they're all under pressure. The crayon factory in Easton.
Now,
Okay.
if I were trying to bring, we've talked about it, water. You come to Erie, we'll give you instead of free property taxes, free water. We have more water than we know what to do with.
I still think at the bottom of all this is, it's not only the tax breaks, but, it's that right to work stuff.
Well, that's clearly what it is. Nobody would move a
But
business
then
here.
that works against what this gentleman said.
I mean, who would move here every time we're on the news, where they're on I-90 saying what a blizzard it is in Erie. Who wants to move to Blizzardville? You still there, caller?
Hello?
Yeah, who wants to move to Blizzardville?
I like that gentleman. He
Oh,
had
he's
some
smart.
good
Yeah, we've had
comments.
some really good calls today, but we're almost out of time.
We are?
Yeah, Mike's gave us the 5 minute. You were jibber jabbering.
But, the problem is, how do you get the jobs up here? No one can promise you.
The only, we have this gentleman down with the chamber.
Yeah.
The question, let's start off with who's supposed to do what? What agency, what organization we have to go out into the world with a plan and whatever incentives we can bring and go out into the world. We should not see people that work for the chamber that are job creations
Yeah.
in the manufacturing sector. We shouldn't even see them. They should be gone. Out there where there is no water, the whole West Coast.
Yeah.
There's no water. We have plenty of water. An incentive package. This is what we have. Here's the water. Here's the tax rate. You need a facility. Here's who we have to build it. Boom, boom, boom. Sign. Come visit us. Just come look. We can't bring businesses here. From what I understood, we would go to a show. We would go to some shows and sit at a table. That's a waste of time.
Oh, you know what you gotta do? You gotta be, it's easy for me to say, but this is how other communities have done it. I use the example of Buffalo. They wanted a new airline. And they found out that there was an airline expanding that kind of fit their profile. So they went after it. It was complicated. It took 1.5 years. But they did what had to be done to get it, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, that's just one thing. So apply the same theory to a factory. Keep your eyes open, and when you see something that's in your wheelhouse,
Yeah.
okay, then what you gotta do is you gotta say, hey, can I talk to you? Don't wait till they're at the trade show.
Right.
Go in to ask them, say, okay, why don't you wanna come here? That's a straight question. Why don't you wanna come here?
Yeah, we need to figure out why first before
Yeah.
we can fix the problem.
What would it take for you to get you here? Why would you not come down? Okay?
Yeah.
And then, okay, if it's something you can attack, that's one thing.
I went to when the Chamber of Commerce, when the new guy came in. I went to their annual dinner last year, and I kind of liked the guy. He had the good ideas. He does a lot of stuff that you and I are talking about right now. He said they were going to do it, but when are they going to do it? They're too busy commenting on other things that they really have no business commenting on. Only thing I want to hear them commenting on is how many jobs are they bringing to Erie, when are they bringing them, and what are they doing to bring it here. We don't need them involved in every issue going on.
Who's that?
Chamber of Do Nothing.
I'll give you an example of that. when I was running for office, and the Times News is supposed to be the great Times News,
Yeah.
they asked me a question about area insurance. Why didn't I pressure them to get an answer? When you have one of the leading employers, probably the last Fortune 500 company in Erie, right?
Yeah.
The last thing you want to do is irritate them.
Right.
And as long as they're playing by the rules, and as long as they're doing proactive things that are not illegal,
Yeah.
Rezoning some land that was vacant, desolate, run down for future expansion, and look at what they've done. They pretty much,
You can't, what they've done over there, it's amazing.
that's only the start of it, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, there are things that, well, it came out now, but, what they have planned, and at the time that, I'm not a newspaper man,
Yeah.
if they don't want to tell me, but they're not putting anything illegal in,
Right.
it's like it was in the old days. I think when Erie was growing, nobody questioned what GE was doing. Nobody questioned what Hammermill did. If they bought more land, it had to be good, right?
Right.
And I think, what we got to do now is figure out, we got to keep everybody happy that's here,
Yeah.
okay?
Right.
And when you got people like, people don't like what's happening downtown, but when you got private money,
It's their own money.
yeah, and that's what we need. We actually, even the reports that everybody falls back on and said are gospel, all tell you that don't depend on the government to do it, okay? You gotta go out there and get some private investment. If we can find some businesses,
You have to have that. If you have businesses that come and set up shop that actually pay a good wage, people will move into that neighborhood, take over those houses that are dilapidating and falling down. They'll purchase them, put money into it because it's their property, and then the whole neighborhood finally
but the
rises in
trick, John,
value.
we gotta go out there and start finding, we can't wait to go to the trade shows.
We waited too long.
We gotta find out who's expanding. and-
Water is the one thing, and all that, sewer, water, all that. One thing that we have that other places don't
Is the water.
is water. With that being said, we gotta get out of here. We're
Which
like
always
7
amazed me
minutes late.
why we don't get into the water business.
Mike, please, I gotta get out of here.
Play that music, Mike. See you next week. So quiet tonight, bud. Oh, maybe.
You have been watching Taxpayers Hotline, recorded live from the fabulous city of Erie, Pennsylvania.